Broadcasting live. Time to jump into the podcast.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Paradise. You are listening to Green Dudes, the only Green Day podcast that matters. You are here with your host. That's me, Connor Mack. I am here with my best pal in the Green Day verse, my Green Day comrade in arms, my BFF, my dude wife for life, and most recently, not just my partner in love, life, everything that goes with it, but my partner in business alongside Mr. Billy Joe Armstrong. We have Connor Kelly, our esteemed co-host.
Yeah. Hey. Wow.
How are you
Thanks.
doing, Connor?
A bit of a mixed bag. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
hit me
I
with
just,
it.
I just got the news that Connor, we did not win the sweepstakes for the two tickets to go see Black Sabbath for their final show
Oh,
in England. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Who the fuck won?
Luis Savas.
What a fucking piece of shit.
I don't hold anything against the guy. It's like someone had to win.
No, I'm sure they're great people. I'm sure
Yeah.
he's I'm sure they're gonna have a great time
I'm sure they are.
going to see Black Sabbath. But yeah, that is disappointing.
Yeah.
So
I do it to myself because I've entered a lot of contests like this over the years, and I'm like, I've entered so many of these. I'm like, I I do this thing where I legitimately believe I'm gonna win. Like that's the sad part. Like I really I enter this thing. I know that tens of thousands of other people must have been in the running for this. And if you spend, I entered for free. If you spend money, you can put in like a bunch more entries for yourself.
yeah, yeah,
So like the odds of me winning, um, way under even 1%. We're talking about like below like 100th of a percent probably was like
yeah,
my
sure.
my probability of. But the thing is, I really I feel like I'm like, man, I've entered so many of these things. One of these days it's gonna come back around, and I thought, why not this
Yeah,
one? Why can't
I
it
know.
be
Yeah,
me and Connor going to see Black Sabbath? Uh,
you're bound to win eventually,
why not?
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh well.
that's disappointing. I mean, it's it is still true. It might not be this one. It might be some contest you enter that you don't even really want to go. It'll
Yeah.
just be something where it's like uh, enter to see a random band,
Yeah.
uh, and then the band that it ends up being, and it's going to be like Creed or something.
Yeah. I'd be pretty happy to go see Creed. Actually, that'd be cool.
Well, hey, then
I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
maybe maybe that will be your moment.
You know, I actually, I was singing some Creed last night, Connor.
Were you?
Yes, I went to karaoke for my friend's birthday. They did this thing. You could like rent a karaoke room, so it was like,
Yeah. I did that a few months ago.
yeah, nice. So I actually was singing somewhere. Can you take me higher?
Yeah,
You know. So if my
yeah.
voice is a little shot, it's because I went
You
higher
were
than ever
you were
before.
channeling Scott Stapp.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So that I mean undoubtedly, um, without any qualifiers here, Creed is a great karaoke band. Those singles are very singable.
Totally.
And just a week or two ago, my girlfriend and I, we were just watching music videos. We just put music videos on sometimes, and she played. I don't know if it was the music video for Higher or for one of their other songs, but
Yeah.
I think it might have been Higher. But it was just really funny because it was like all
They look
early
yeah
2000 CGI, like
yeah, all their music videos look like when you get a strike in a bowling alley
yeah,
and
absolutely.
they play the video. That's what their
Those
music videos look
animations they
like.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So I I was like transfixed on that. I was like, wow, this is really really funny. I don't like that these videos exist. And I was thinking like, I mean, I think the songs are they're genuinely pretty good.
Yeah.
They're good songs to to sing along to, and they were very popular for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Call me a Creed fan.
Yeah.
I listened to Creed when I was here. Human Clay, good album.
There we go.
Good band.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unironically.
This war between Green Day fans and Creed fans is over.
Yeah, that's right. There's enough room for everyone,
Ending right now.
Yeah.
It's I feel like Creed was popular. They kind of wrapped things up before American Idiot came out, even, or like around the time. It was kind of, I don't think there was much overlap, was there?
Yeah, I mean, I think they might have hung around a bit long. I mean, I guess you're right. I don't know when like their last big hits. Maybe that was before American Idiot. But there's definitely been like a sort of like a cultural reexamination.
Oh yeah,
and definitely a kind of an ironic, but I think like genuine sort of love for them. They're still going strong. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm just talking about that moment they had where where they were everywhere,
when they were on top of the world. Oh
when
yeah,
they were on top of the world.
You're right. Yeah, that wasn't overlap with Green Day. No.
Yeah, I think it was like 2001 was like their last year where they had hit singles like that. I'm looking at it right now, but even past 2001, like those songs lived in the cultural consciousness. Like,
oh, totally.
After that, yeah, totally. That's great. I'm looking right now. Not to go on a Creed deep dive. We'll move on in a second, but yeah, they had an album out in 2001, Weathered, and then not again until 2009. So,
oh yeah,
and then that's it for them. So
there you go. Wow, crazy.
Yeah,
no, just change 2 letters in our podcast name. We could be Creed Dudes.
We could be Creed Dudes. Yeah, maybe that is our next step.
Yeah,
and I mean, of course,
long, be a fun little side project.
It would be fun, actually. Yeah, it would be very different. They are active currently. There's a picture.
They're on tour. I think they're touring right now. Yeah.
Yeah, they just haven't put anything new out in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for them. Well, Connor, sorry to hear it's a mixed bag. Sorry we sidestepped your
it's okay.
Your bad news with some Creed talk. What anything else going on?
Well, rest assured, I did sing Green Day for karaoke as well.
Oh, sweet! I should have asked.
What did you sing? You want to guess what song I sang?
You sang "No Pride."
No. I sang the same song that we sang for karaoke.
Oh, awesome! Yeah. Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Yep.
Classic.
But actually, let me send you. I'll quickly tell you what songs they had from Green Day, because some of them were a surprise to me.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it. So I'm sending you the list. But I could have sang, they had 21 Guns, 21st Century Breakdown, American Idiot, Armitage Shanks.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Basket Case, Bobby Sox, Boulevard, Brain Stew, Novocaine, Good Riddance, Hitchin' a Ride, Holiday, I Fought the Law.
Wow.
Jesus of Suburbia, which would be an insane karaoke song.
I know.
That would be an insane karaoke.
Can you imagine like what the reactions of everyone else would be?
I would love to do, Connor. Next time we go out for karaoke, we got to go out together and we'll do Jesus in Suburbia.
We really should do Jesus in Suburbia. Absolutely, that would be massive.
Know Your Enemy, Longview, Look Mono Brains, Macy's Day Parade, Minority, Nice Guys Finish Last, She, St. Jimmy, Tired of Waiting for You,
God.
Wake Me Up When September Ends, Warning, Welcome to Paradise, What's Her Name, When I Come Around, Working Class Hero.
They got all the weird little one-off covers. That's really funny.
Yeah.
God, that's a crazy list.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, not bad. Not
bad. Fuck. You sang
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Oh, you didn't sing more than one song? Okay, gotcha.
No, not.
Gotcha.
I mean, I sang a bunch of songs, but
but that's enough for the Green Day.
Green Day guy.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I karaoke last time we went because it was the same deal. It was like a birthday party thing. They rented out a room and did karaoke, and it was a lot of fun. And I sang Bobby Socks, and then with my girlfriend, and then I think another Green Day song. I forgot what it was, but it was fun. Yeah.
I do just want to mention best song of the night that I sang. I also wanted to put on My Chemical Romance. So I was like looking at. I was like, I didn't want to just do like I'm Not Okay or whatever. I want to do something. So I put on Thank You for the Venom. That was
sweet.
An awesome karaoke song.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I would love to see you do karaoke to that song.
It was really cool. It was a fun one.
Hell yeah. Did you go? Have you seen my Kung Fu lately?
No. But before it started,
totally awesome.
I did. I was like, you get what everyone gets. You get one lifetime. Yeah, I was.
That's really, awesome. Hell yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. That's awesome. We should do karaoke sometime. That would be a lot of fun. Anyways, in Green Day news, Connor, the band, they're still on their hot European summer.
That's right. Wet, hot European summer. Yep.
Green, hot European summer.
Yep.
Wet, green European summer. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Get that checked out. Wet and green.
Yeah. It's concerning now at this point. If it lasts for more than a few weeks, seek medical attention. And we just missed last episode. We just missed this little mini controversy that happened. I gotta figure out what show it was at. But did you see any of this, Connor?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
This little mini controversy where and maybe I can find the video for you. Where is it? It's at a festival, the Hurricane Festival, Germany's Hurricane Festival. Okay. Where this kid, I guess, was like he was squirting Billy Joe in the face with a water gun, for like a long time, and Billy kind of loses his shit on him during Jesus Suburbia.
Really?
Yeah. So
I did not see that. No.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the video really quick because it's like really short, but it's really funny.
Yeah. Let's see what that looks like. He loses his shit, huh? I'm still in the watch together room if you put it on there.
Yeah. Yeah, keep on vamping. Give me 1 second and we're gonna...
That's usually what I do anyways when there's dead air. I just start singing Creed.
Yeah, that's perfect actually.
No, make the earth and my dream the same. Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna put it up on the video here. So.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. We have all this technology at our fingertips.
We have all this modern technology, and it's like we never use it. And we really. All right, here we go. All right. You see it?
Yes, I do.
All right, here we go. That's pretty much it. but
Wow.
but yeah. So I mean, according to people that were there, they like had passed out water guns and stuff because it was hot, and so they were just like spraying themselves and stuff with it to keep it cool. But this one kid in the front row was like just really going to town on Billy, like for I don't know, like for like the entire show up to this point, I guess. And uh a little bit of 90s Billy Joe came out.
It could have been a lot worse. He
Oh,
could
yeah.
have jumped off the stage and drop kicked him in the face.
Exactly. He could have pulled a Nimrod era and jumped off stage and
I think it's perfectly normal to be frustrated. I mean, and it didn't even really do any. He just kind of pointed at him. He was like, like fucking cut the shit, cut it out.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's totally reasonable. I don't see. What
no, I'm Team Billy for sure on this one. I would be frustrated too, and I mean, I think he mouthed something like, "Yeah, like cut it out, or I'm gonna beat your ass," or something.
Yeah.
Which is very, very funny.
Yeah, man, I'd be pretty. I mean, like, I would feel very ashamed. If that were, like, imagine.
Are you kidding?
It's like Billy noticed me. It's like the one bit of recognition you get for your whole life from this guy is like him telling you to fuck off.
I know. I could not imagine. That's that is a nightmare. And I think the kid was embarrassed afterwards, and I think that they like took him out, like they threw him out or something after that happened. So. You live and you learn. But that was like the only fun little thing I had to show. The sets have been good. I think they've still been doing like some cool rarities. I know they just played Scattered, so it seems like they're having fun changing things up a little bit. So and then the other thing is they played Brat.
Oh yeah.
They played Brat last week, and I got a link from.
Wait, is that when he wore the Brat hat, or was that something different?
No, yeah, that was at Coachella, I think, with Charlie XCX. But no, they played Brat, and then somebody commented on our little clip of our Brat discussion. They're like, "Oh, Green Day just played Brat," and then so I put two and two together, and I was like, "Hey, they must have been listening."
Yeah.
Because what other explanation?
That is some concrete evidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think our joint business partner here is taking our advice to heart.
He's taking notes. Yeah, he's like, well, I wouldn't normally listen to a fan podcast, but since these two are their business partners of mine,
that's true.
I think I should I should take some interest in what they're.
It's true because it's like we're more peers, than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, once like money is involved, then you take things a bit more seriously.
That's right, yeah. And I don't want to be like coach about it, but yeah, absolutely. It's because
it's just the way the world works, baby.
Yeah.
So pretty much if you want Billy,
smell the coffee,
wake up and smell the coffee, the Punk Bunny coffee. If you want Billy to notice you, folks, don't squirt him in the face with a water gun. Just invest in his business dealings. Anyways, folks, today on the program we are talking about No Pride, which is the 5th song off of Green Day's 4th record, Insomniac. This is a non-single, just a regular run-of-the-mill song off of the record. Connor, going into this, as we typically do, there's no music video to this song. There's no fanfare. This is what they call a real deep cut. I'd call this a real ass deep cut.
Yeah, definitely.
Connor, what are your feelings on No Pride? Going back to your humble beginnings, because this is one of the ones where obviously we've listened to this together throughout the years many times, but it's like one I can't really place within our story. You know, I don't really have any memories of you listening to this song or us really discussing this song much even. So
Yeah,
take me back
yeah.
to kind of maybe what, if anything, that you remember historically.
Yeah, I mean, this is a cool song, and even in my past, it was cool. I think when we started off our Insomniac discussion, I was talking about Armitage Shanks, and I was like, well, Insomniac, it kind of has a lot of songs that uh that just sound, more punk, or have like a more raw rock, edgy kind of feel to it, and No Pride is definitely a song like that in my mind when I was a kid, where it was like,
Oh yeah.
uh, I I liked listening to it musically. I It's kind of just a song to get you pumped up a bit, But I didn't. It was another one where, like, I didn't pay attention to the lyrics, which is, I think, something pretty common for me on Insomniac, um, barring a few exceptions. Because there's a lot, like, on this song, we'll get to it, of course, but like I got a lot of misheard or unknown lyrics, and and it just never like bothered me, because again, there's a lot of stuff like in my mind, you know, No Pride is kind of like in this group of songs on Insomniac when I was a kid, where it'd be like, oh, okay, Stuck With Me, No Pride, 86, Westbound Sign. Like, there's just like a lot of hard, fast, uh, awesome sounding. It's not to say that all those songs sound the same, but like I kind of like categorize them together as like songs that I think like just fucking rip. Um, but like when I was younger, I did not think very critically about. So like it's cool to come back to it and to have this in-depth discussion, because for a long time, No Pride was just a song that I thought sounded cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I feel the same way. It does immediately hit you as like, oh, this is like one of the punk ones. Not to like reduce it to that, but yeah, it's a song that doesn't really fit on Dookie or Kerplunk or 39 Smooth. Yeah, it's very clearly something different for the band, and really couldn't exist on a different Green Day record. I mean, it would just be changed. It would just be a difference. Like no matter what other record it could be on, it couldn't exist like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know. I think that's just a testament to just Green Day's constant evolution. But yeah, it's a song I'm happy that exists, and it's one that, as I've grown with it, again, I say this about almost every song on Insomniac, especially. Uh, I have really grown to appreciate it. It's like one that like you said, when you dig into the lyrics and um, you know, kind of, you can absorb more of what it's about, and I I think it's relatively I guess not dense. I don't
So
think dense is the right word,
yeah,
but it is like one that does, I feel like, has layers you can peel back as you grow into it.
yeah,
What are you feeling these days about No Pride, Connor?
yeah. I there are, definitely aspects about it that I appreciate a lot more. Um, I do think it's a really rad song. Um, but it's kind of hard to talk about like how I feel like it's grown on me, or what about it's like, I feel like that's, as we like get into the different performances and like talking about the lyrics, those are all things that we're going to circle back around to. But it's definitely safe to say that I like this song more than I did back in the day, and some of that just does come from like being more familiar with it and what I think the song's about. But like with a lot of these things too, I don't know. I still have that kid in me who's like, man, I love how punk this sounds for Green Day. Like that doesn't go away either, and that's something that we talked about too. It's like sometimes things just like grow around that like initial like appreciation you have for something instead of replacing it. And I feel like with a lot of songs on Insomniac, like I still have that feeling of just being like, man, like it's just like feels good to listen to this, because this is like the exact it's like once I outgrew Creed, it was like, this is this is what it was. I was like, this is the music that like made me feel cool, and No Pride was definitely a song I would hold up, and be like, yeah, like this is a song that like that shows that Green Day's punk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this proves the haters and detractors wrong. We're walking around our neighborhood, and people are saying Green Day is not punk.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're like rollerblading with our dumbass.
Yeah, I know. And then we're like, they haven't heard No Pride, though.
Yeah.
They don't even know.
Yeah.
These kids don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they hit you with they only know 3 chords.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're just like,
yeah, right.
What? Okay. And
now what do I say?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I absolutely. It is still like a thrill, and it is still it's nice to have these heavy hitting kind of punk moments to showcase that they are the real freaking deal. It is the truth here. Diving into some of this song a bit more in depth, where do you want to start today, Connor?
I think we might as well start with the guitar, because that's what we hear first. Yes. We get that isolated guitar.
Isolated guitar. Yes.
It's like,
which is, it's a big chunky.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big chunky.
It's a big chunky.
It's a big chunky.
That's what Rob was saying. Big chunky. Bring on big chunky.
Yeah, he says, Billy, give me that big chunky, baby.
He's turning the knobs. He's turning the dials. He's like, I gotta find big chunky in there somewhere.
Gotta find big chunky. Yeah, really huge, powerful guitar sounds to start us off. That great Insomniac crunch. And I don't even know, Connor, how many guitars do you think this is recorded stacked together? It sounds pretty massive here.
That's a good point. I was kind of wondering that because after it's like in between those last 2 choruses, he plays the intro riff again, and that's kind of like the instrumental bridge or whatever. And then like, as he's playing it, it just gets louder, like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, they must just have another guitar stacked on that, or
definitely,
or they're just turning knobs or whatever it is. But you're right, just about like how big it sounds, and I think that like they it's like it kind of goes in and out too, depending on it's they want it to be.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think they definitely they at least double track all guitar parts, but I think for the intro and the instrumental part, maybe it's like, who knows? It's like quadruple tracked or at least triple tracked or something like that. But it's a very effective trick to get that wall of sound, that wall of guitar. It's a good trick to get to conjure up Big Chunky. You know,
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
that's how you do it. I mean, the guitar itself, like the chord progression, strumming pattern, is like it's pretty standard Green Day. We got the that strumming pattern that we already know so very well. Um, but somehow with this chord progression and with the kind of drive of this song, it does, it feels kind of different. Not it's it just feels because this is something, whereas like Armitage Shanks or Brat or Stuck With Me, those are like, they do feel like dark and they feel like minor, but this kind of is like, I feel like something like No Pride is like the in between. Like it's not really, it's kind of a bright-ish sound, but it's not it's not like bright, perky, poppy like Dookie, but it's also not down in the dregs like a lot of Insomniac is. So it's hard for me to describe it, but it feels like there's some middle ground here.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And like there is some parts like this probably comes more from like the vocals, but it's like paired with the guitar, so but like there are moments in the song where it kind of feels like it's soaring.
Yeah.
When Billy's in the chorus is Anna's gonna knock you down before your chance, like when you get to the chorus there, it does feel like it is going higher. It's like, can you take it higher? And they do. Big Chunky goes all the way up, as
yes,
high
he
as
does.
So I get what you mean, where it's not like this is like a sunny poppy song or whatever, but yeah, it kind of feels like you're coming up for air a little bit.
Yeah. You definitely, it feels like there's like a bit of positive momentum, and there's like, I don't know, I can point to 2 tracks on this record that feel that way, and that's I feel like it's No Pride and then like Westbound Sign or something.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 ones that I feel like have positive momentum. And so yeah, I mean, in that way, it's kind of
right.
Walking Contradiction. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it ends on that note, which is nice. You're right about that. But it's kind of a nice reprieve for, even though the song is like, it's not, again, not like a positive song necessarily, but it's a nice reprieve, like you said. It's like a breather, which after 4 songs of like, because the thing about Green Day, people point out a lot is like, oh, their lyrics and the songs are sad or dark and stuff, but the music is so poppy that it kind of, there's like this contrast that lulls you into a false sense of security, and you're singing along without even realizing like what the song's about. That's a great trick, pop punk or punk rock bands pull, and Green Day is great at it. But so far in this record, it's really kind of like, oh, like the lyrics are dark and drab, and like so is the music. Even though it's energetic, like it's like both of those elements have turned, and so yeah, after 4 songs of that, it's like, oh, this is kind of a nice little. There's a little mini half pep in my step.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think I'd also just quickly add on the guitar here. It stuck out to me like how simple it is. Like we were saying, how it's it's sort of an expected riff, or like, again, like it's not like, oh, you could say that he's literally played this before, but yeah, like it's a very familiar Billy Joe sounding riff. And I was like, you know, there's very little from the guitar playing itself to like to make it feel varied. Uh, but the song itself is like also so short, um, and like the different sections of the song going from verse to pre-chorus to chorus and so on, like all those things happen. Like feels like it's kind of always transitioning into or out of something. Um, and so I just found myself like really appreciative of like, you know, Billy's playing being relatively simple, but of course like his technique is so solid, and the structure of the song is like uh energetic and interesting enough that like it doesn't, not only does it not matter, you know, it's it's because of its simplicity that like it works. And I'm just like I'm constantly impressed, you know, when I focus in on like a performance from anyone in Green Day, because it's like sometimes it'll be something, you know, super skillful, and you'll be like, wow, I can't believe Billy just nailed that solo, or like, you know, check the, you know, it's like there's plenty of like things you could point to show like Billy's expertise at guitar playing, you know, and that's why like I'm even more impressed when I hear just how restrained and relatively straightforward his playing can be, because it feels like they just have such a good understanding of like, you know, what their role is in any given song, and like how their dynamic between the three of them like works. And this is all stuff that we've talked about before, but No Pride and Billy's guitar playing here especially, it really stood out to me, because when I sat down and was like just like listening for the guitar, I'm like, this is just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
It doesn't change, you know. uh and yet the song itself is fantastic, of course. And so it's like it just goes to show uh how well they know themselves, how just a simple trick like double or tripling up guitars potentially to just make it, you know, to make it seem like something else is happening when really he's just playing the same shit. uh such a good lesson in restraint and the strength of simple playing, you know, when you really have like a vision, when you really know like what the art you're trying to make is. And Green Day is just so good at that. Billy's so good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is such a great example of that. On a record that's like kind of full of great examples of that. This one kind of does take the cake, because I mean, there's so many moments where you could like add a flourish or change or put in a fucking pre-chorus or something, or I mean, but it's like you know, these decisions would all like they'd fundamentally change the song. And um you know, not always for the better, you know, like sometimes these parts are just not um not every song needs all of these elements to feel fleshed out or complete. And this is one that yeah, absolutely merits the simplicity that it's. I mean, yeah, it's like it's interesting because it's like they make up for the simplicity almost in like how hard and kind of like militant their playing is on the song itself. So uh, it doesn't feel like it's like it doesn't feel like less effort was put into the song because of its simplicity. It feels like an equal amount of effort, a substantial amount of effort, but just like doing the same thing, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah. No,
throughout
you're
the
right.
song. Yeah, but definitely giving it all I got. And yeah, no solo, no nothing. it's you can't call it bare bones because it's a very muscular guitar part and performance. Kind of let's jump into the drums next. We have
Yeah.
this just listening to this song before we started recording today. I was like, man, I kind of forgot how cool the drums were on this song.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I for my money, I think that this is Insomniac's like first phenomenal drum performance because like for the four prior tracks, obviously when we talk about the drums, we're pretty much always like, you know, Trey is incredible, and no matter what he does, it's excellent. But I don't think like the previous four songs were set up for Trey to do something like he does here on No Pride. And so it's like uh I think that No Pride is like the first excellent killer drum performance on this record. And yeah, what a great performance it is. You know, it kind of makes me think actually too. I'm sure this is something that we've also mentioned. I know it is but it's like, you know, with Billy's playing being as simple as it is, you know, there's not one Green Day song where all three members are just doing something quote unquote simple. You know, it's like if one person is kind of just, you know, walking in a straight line, usually that's the cue for someone else to take the ball and run with it. And
Yeah,
that's Trey Cool on this song because
yeah,
the way that Trey is playing for his life on this thing, like it makes the guitar sound more complicated than it is because Trey's like doing all of these crazy fills, and you know, it's like there's a lot of complexity to this. And so even though Billy's playing the same thing over and over again pretty much, it doesn't sound repetitive because Trey is doing so much to like complicate the song. And
yeah.
it just sounds fantastic. I love his playing here.
Absolutely, yeah. No, he's great. He keeps it very interesting. There's just so many cool fills throughout. Almost, I mean, it's like it's funny because uh, what I want, like, you know, I want to say like, oh, the fills are kind of feel like Ringo-ish a little bit, um, but yeah, obviously this is like punk rock, you know. But it's kind of like if those kind of like I don't know, like not a not buffoonish, but like eccentric little fills were translated into like a punk rock uh, arena. This feels like what that would be a little bit, with just kind of like it's just fun because it feels like, you know, you're tripping over yourself a little bit with the drum, like in the best way. I mean, it's really, it really keeps you on your toes. And yeah, I mean, it keeps the song really interesting. You know, I would, you know, I think this definitely is like the best example of like Trey kind of like letting loose and letting these fills rip so far on Insomniac. I am just a sucker for the Armitage Shanks drums, which is just, rather than really fills or any, that kind of makes it the bed of the song. But no, I think that's right, and we get, you know, after this we get quite a few cool drum moments. And it just the drums just sound so good too. It's like, you know, obviously we talked the guitars are doubled and stuff, but with drums, I mean, you can't like. I'm not gonna say you can't do that. You can double track drums. People do that, but like not like this. Like these are just like so pristinely recorded, and they have like so much depth to the sound, like just the hits of the toms and stuff. It's you can kind of feel the reverberation and the depth of those hits and how hard Trey's hitting, which is again another testament to Mr. Cavallo.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. The production on this is really excellent. You can hear every hit, and man, I just love that part. Right after Billy's, you better swallow your pride or you're gonna choke, and then Trey's like,
exactly.
It's one of those moments where it feels like the song's gonna fall apart in those like 3 seconds. It's like, it's like, can he hold it together? And then it all obviously is just like so effortlessly recoalesced as the song just moves. But it's like, it's crazy how wild his playing can be in these bursts where it's like what a talent to be able to play something that like sounds that chaotic, but like do it with such precision and control that like you don't lose it. It just goes straight into the song. Yeah.
No, absolutely. It's controlled chaos. And that's kind of what I mean, like with the Ringo-ish. Like it feels like that, like those the dumb little Beatles fills, but kind of like to pull from, I'm sure, a comment on YouTube at some point that we've read. Sounds like Ringo on speed,
Yeah.
Like someone surely has commented that on YouTube. So I'll pull from them. And just like that fucking drummer from the Muppets or whatever.
Oh yeah, Animal. Yeah.
Animal. I was gonna say Monster. I don't fucking know the Muppets, but I know that. But that's what I think of. That's the guy,
Yeah. And Trey is an animal. Yeah.
He is an animal. Absolutely is. All right. Yeah. Saving the bass for last.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Mike Dirnt. Connor, what are your thoughts on his performance on this track?
I like it quite a bit too. This is another song where I think we were talking about. Yeah, it was Geek Stink Breath last week where I was like, it feels like the guitar is like so big that it's hard to hear it at times, which was kind of a surprise because I have felt so far that the production on the bass is like really, really excellent. Like I'm so impressed at how well you can hear the bass and the guitar. And I think that continues here in No Pride. I really like, you kind of get this little intro bit. You could tell exactly when Mike starts playing, and he does this whole like, it's like as it goes into the verse. But something that I really keyed in on that I don't think I had really noticed as much or even really like cared to think about as much before, but like Mike's playing in the pre-chorus and in the chorus is like really cool, and it sounds like very fast. Like you could hear him. He's like, it's just like it's like it sounds like he's just kind of I don't know, like it. His playing gives the song a lot more momentum too.
Yeah.
Than like I had realized, because I don't know. It's like even while like it's like Trey's all over the place. He's going nuts, and Billy, obviously his guitar is sort of like the main musical melody here. But like again, it's pretty straightforward, and it's not that Mike's playing is super complicated, but like he gives it like this awesome. I don't know, this awesome, deep, thick, like driving beat to it, and it's that just I think is giving the song like a lot more like propulsion than I had realized. So it's just cool. It's cool to hear how they all work together. And yeah, I think Mike's playing is awesome. I love how clearly Cavallo is able to capture like that like low tone of the bass. It just feels like there's always this sort of like soft bedrock to all these Insomniac songs that Mike is just filling out that space. So really really good stuff here too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, this is a great song. You're right in that it really kind of you can hone in on the bass more so than on something like Geek Stink Breath, where even though that song wasn't like simple, I think. I mean, it was simple. Sorry, even though that is a simple song. It kind of, I think, was the power there was helped by like the guitar and the bass doing the same thing really, and adding the power that way. And I know they definitely double track guitars for that, but I'm just saying, like the bass was kind of adding that powerful element, but here the guitar is like doing that on its own. And so the bass has more like free reign, to explore a little bit. And I love what Mike does here, because it's like he's not like going on those little side quests that we've discussed or that I've mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of like tip tapping around where the guitar is and the drums are. Like, he's not straying too far at all, but he's consistently like stepping out just a bit and coming back in.
Yeah.
So it's like a fun. I mean, I think it shows like creativity, both creativity and restraint, in terms of like Mike's uh, bass writing and performance, because like we know he could, again, you could make this song into a bass. Oh, this is the song with all the cool bass fills and stuff, um, but like he just knows. He like pushes it to the edge, because you can't have a song. You can't have the song where like, oh, like the drum. I mean, you can, but like it would be a different song. It wouldn't be restrained and restrained power. If you have a song where the drums are doing fills every few measures and the basses too, so it's like Mike kind of walks to that line here, but he doesn't overstep at any point, I think. And that's what I kind of picked up on. It's a great showing again of him knowing what the song calls for.
I wonder if that's something that kind of just like naturally happens, like when they're playing. Like, do they kind of just realize as like bandmates, oh, like, Trey's kind of all over this one, maybe I'll take a bit of a step back? Or like, I kind of wonder when they're like rehearsing and figuring out the song and going through like the creative process of like of what it's actually going to sound like. It's like, how is there a version of this song where like everyone's kind of going nuts, and then they're like, hang on a second, we gotta someone has to, right?
We gotta scale this back a bit.
I really wonder. I don't know.
I mean, no, there definitely could be, and could be like a thing where Mike's going off on one, and Billy just throws his guitar down and he says, "Cut that shit out, or I'll beat your ass."
Mike's just got a squirt gun, and he's just no, and like we've seen, like with American Idiot, and even like with the trilogy with Quattro, and like in some of like their like modern era stuff like there's more of a peek behind the curtain of like what the process is like. Oh man, does anything exist like that for Insomniac? Probably just bits and pieces, right?
Yeah, I mean, all I can think of is like there's interviews from the studio. I can't remember any actual footage of them recording Insomniac.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. If somebody knows of some footage of them recording Insomniac or writing these songs, like that would be awesome. Send that our way.
Yeah.
I don't know if it exists.
Yeah, it's just like as a fan, so I almost feel greedy, but I'm like, man, I wish there was a documentary style movie about all these the making of all these records. Like,
it does seem like they missed a beat without not not documenting the 90s really. I mean, well, the thing about it is like obviously the 90s for them are very documented, but not like that behind the scenes or making of it's interesting because like even like the making of the videos weren't a thing until the 2000s. Like,
right.
I don't know why that it was maybe I wonder what when that was popularized, making of records, making of music videos. I don't know.
Yeah, I think those things like that. I think it kind of always has happened like sporadically, but definitely now, I think people have realized like, oh, like there's actually much more of an opportunity to, to get more money, to create something else. It's like, oh, we could sell him the making of this thing. Fuck just the record sales. All I have to do is film you making the record you're already doing, and
I know.
And we could sell that too. I think at some point, yeah, enough people realize that process could be monetized. And I think like, yeah, when an album like Insomniac was coming out, not like Green Day would have, like, just think about if the fact that they made Insomniac, this is like the least likely point in their lives where they would ever want anyone to document,
Yeah.
They would not want anyone.
Especially because like this is like them like not on.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of their private.
Yes.
I mean, they're working obviously, but they're not on the stage, on the global stage, or they obviously very valued their moments that they could have some privacy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's it's one of the, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense to have that.
No.
But it would be cool, like retroactively. I would why not now? This whole Green Day movie initiative.
Yeah.
Go back. I'm sure they have footage.
They probably do.
They must have something.
Yeah, I would think so.
Why not do that now? Go back to each one of your give us the making of your discography. Come on.
Well, now it would be
if they're really listening. Come on, then do it.
Do it. I mean, we would eat that shit up so fast. But now it would just be like clips for TikTok and YouTube. That's like because that's what the making of records now. Like, that was Saviors. We pretty much have a whole making of Saviors, but it's all just little YouTube clips. So. And I think that's the big reason, like, because in the 90s, home media was new. There were VHS tapes and stuff like that. But then once DVDs hit the scene, Connor, that's when you can get your international super videos with behind the scenes stuff and the bonus DVD of American on the American Idiot deluxe, or it wasn't a deluxe, it was just the re-release or something. But so I think that does kind of makes sense why there wasn't a push as early as Insomniac. But alternatively, Connor, now that we have the power of AI, just reconstruct the moment. Just say, hey, Grok, can you make a behind the scenes documentary for Green Day recording the Insomniac record.
Yeah,
Then there you have it. There it is.
it's true. Yep. Only a matter of time.
Yep. Connor, any final thoughts on these instruments before we move on to the words and the sound that Billy's voice makes when he sings those words?
No, let's get to the voice making the sounds and all that.
All right, cool. We'll just go into to just be lyrics and the vocals.
Yeah.
So
That's how we've been doing it. I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, hit me with the song.
Goes a little something like this. Just tell me the words
I
might have known. The words I might have known. The words I might have
known. All right, first and foremost, these lyrics, Connor, obviously we're using Genius, as we always do. Any of these lyrics that you were unfamiliar with before getting into this discussion, or any misheard lyrics here?
Yeah. There's definitely some big chunks in this song that I didn't know what he was saying, and I have some misheard lyrics. One that I thought was interesting. So, Genius listed as the pre-chorus. You better swallow your pride or you're gonna choke on it. That I heard. I got it. But then I thought he said, "Take a look at your values because they turn to shit." But Genius says, "You better digest your values." And I was like, oh, swallow and digest. That makes sense. But I never got that. Also in the chorus, Genius says, "Honor's gonna knock you down." Didn't realize he was saying honor. I just thought it was like, or it's gonna knock you down before, so like.
You thought he was saying Connor? Connor's gonna knock you down?
Yeah, Connor's gonna knock you down, yeah. So in that pre-chorus chorus, it's like I was always singing along to what I thought he said, but there's some small tweaks there. And then but yeah, those two verses, I was always kind of like bouncing back and forth between lines I knew and lines I didn't know, or so it's like the first line I knew, like, "I'm just a mutt, nowhere's my home, that's all good." And then I was even surprised I knew the next one, because he says where dignity is a landmine in the school. I was like, what? I didn't realize he said landmine, but I had everything else there.
Yeah.
And, but then it's just bits and pieces. Like, I had always heard the "hand me down, you're lost and found," but then secondhand regret, I had no clue. It's things like that. So this, I'm not going to go through each thing here because you get the idea.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of like little holes for me to fill in. It's funny because it's like this was a song I always felt like I could sing along to. I always did sing along, even though I didn't know all the words, because it's like I knew enough that whatever I didn't know, you just make some sounds. You
can fill in the blanks a little bit.
So
exactly.
That's how it was. That's how it was for me. I definitely learned some stuff today.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not too far behind you on this one, really. The big thing in the first verse for me is I don't think I knew it was "I've panhandled for life because I'm not afraid to beg," which is a great line. I don't think I ever knew what that he was saying panhandled there.
Yeah.
And then digest your values too it's something I think that I thought he was saying you better practice your values or something. But digest obviously makes a lot of sense. And it's another great line there in the pre-chorus. But yeah, I mean, actually most of these I think I was familiar with, but those are like two big moments that I just that were just revealed to me. So
yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Connor, as in terms of the vocal performance here, what are your thoughts on Billy Joe's outing here on No Pride?
Really good. I feel like Billy has a lot of good range on this song. Just because there's moments where he really does go a little Scott Stapp or whatever. He does get a little high. And some of those lines that we're talking about, like because he goes I've because I'm not afraid to bet. Like
oh yeah,
like he has these like kind of higher inflections throughout the song, and then like in the chorus, I think it is also kind of like a low high sort of dynamic that makes it like sound really like interesting and kind of catchy, because when he's singing that first line, honor's gonna knock you down before your chance to stand up and fight, like it just feels like he's always kind of like something is changing. Nothing about his delivery is ever like flat, and I feel like it's sort of like that tension release kind of thing that I think about a lot, especially with like the guitar. But I feel like Billy kind of has that going on with like his vocal melody too, because in my mind with that chorus, like that first line is sort of like the setup. It's like, oh, honor's gonna knock you down, but then when you get into that next line, it feels like it's kind of like you're winding back for a punch, and then he delivers it, and it's like he's able to do a lot with this. I think it's a really good delivery on this song.
Yeah, definitely. I also want to point out there are some like cool subdued harmonies here as well that I really like. I think it's I'm trying to think of what exact parts I liked, and now I'm blanking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I've noticed. So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the thing about the vocal production here on Insomniac is it's like very much it's very much scaled back in in pocket, where you don't get those sweet harmonies that you got on 39 Smooth or Kerplunk or even parts of Dookie. Like this is it's kind of it's almost like in the same arena as like guitar solos. Like it's almost a thing where like that shows weakness. Like the kind of idea here is like guitar solos, harmonies. That's like showing weakness as a band right now. We can't do that. That's against the rules. But they can't really resist. And so when a song really needs a little harmony, it's pushed into the background so much. It's like extremely subtle. That's one of the things that I love about Insomniac. It's like there are elements that are still there, where they're just like, it kind of reminds me of like almost those albums where Motion City Soundtrack, like they're like, oh, we're not going to use the synth as much on this record, like, and they scale back the synth, and it's like way in the background. It's like, I don't know, it's like kind of funny, like removing a signature element, or just for the sake of like variety, or not wanting to rely on something so much. Yeah, it's this is almost a test. Like Insomniac is like a test of like, yeah, we're not going to rely on the poppiness so much on this record. We're gonna make it without that element of Green Day up in the forefront. So I don't know. It's just one of those things about Insomniac. But if you go looking for harmonies and melodies and what they're still there, of course, because it's Green Day. But it's just it's not at the forefront of what they're doing.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Any lines here that you want to point out and discuss? Because again, I mean, this fucking record, Connor. This is, I think, one of the peaks of Billy's songwriting. I mean, I think he has different peaks throughout his career, but just like this record so far it's just been a win for Billy lyrically, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that has always struck me and I really wanted to talk about in the second verse when Billy sings "To hell with unity, separation will kill us all." Like I guess it's a line like it sort of puzzled me for a little while, and then I felt like, well, it's like, yeah, this is kind of like the darker Green Day album. They're leaning into we talked more about like this nihilistic sort of feeling, and so I like the idea that like they're recognizing that unity is like this positive force, and they're like, well, actually, like, let's not unite, let's expedite this process, because if we all separate, then we'll all die. And actually, right now, I feel like that's better. I feel like we should all kill ourselves. Is pretty much like what this line has going for it. And
yes.
And I've kind of thought this for a little while, and I want to throw it out there because another big thing with Insomniac being post Dookie is this feeling of like rejection and like being ostracized from their punk collective, their roots, where they came from.
Yeah.
No, you can't play at Gilman anymore, and Unity is a big song from Operation Ivy, and I felt like this might be like some wordplay. Billy likes to do that sometimes too, and I kind of feel like if you look at it that way, it's like to hell with unity, like also in the sense of like to hell with that place, where I came from. Like if they don't want me, then to hell with you too. If indeed like unity is meant to be like not that Billy.
Well, Connor,
not that he'd be
Connor,
saying,
you two never played at Gilman.
Yeah, very funny. That's a dumb joke. I'm not gonna come on. So it's not. I'm not saying that Billy feels that way about Operation Ivy, but like that. I guess I've wondered if it's meant to be kind of like representative or like some wordplay on like where they've come from as well.
No, I think it has to be. I've never thought about that regarding Unity and Operation Ivy. I think more so than because obviously we know Billy loves Operation Ivy and Green Day has so much affection for them. But I think maybe using that phrase unity because this song is about Gilman. It's definitely. And about that backlash. And I think using the word unity as like just a kind of like catchphrase or a statement of intent that Gilman and the scene had and was trying to embody that ideal of unity that Operation Ivy kind of popularized. I think throwing that back in their faces is kind of what he's doing here. He's like, look, like, this is what you call unity. This is doesn't feel like it to me, and so to hell with it. I definitely think that is an element here, and I mean, I'd be surprised if it was not an intentional reference.
Hmm.
That's really.
Maybe Billy can sound off in the comments.
Yeah, Billy, please leave a comment on the video below.
Or send a private message on the Oakland Ballers Discord server for investors.
Yes, yeah, please do. You know our usernames, of course.
Of course.
Connor, any final thoughts on the lyrics here, or any of the performances?
I don't know. I think maybe just a little bit more on the lyrics because it's like,
Yeah.
I think I want to talk about the chorus a bit. You know,
Yeah.
You better swallow your pride. You're gonna choke on it. Digest your values because they turn to shit. I don't know. Like when I think about this song, like at large, I guess I feel like there's this. I kind of take this as a song of Billy being like, well, I'm not better, than anyone. In fact, I'm kind of like gutter trash. I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
He's like, if anything, I'm sort of like below everybody. I think is how he feels, and I think he's also just dealing with his frustration of like I guess it probably does have to do with like that feeling of exile from the punk scene, like their values turning to shit, and I guess I hadn't really thought about it that way, I guess I historically I think I've taken this more as like Billy's frustration with like an aspect of humanity or like a kind of person that like sometimes Billy writes songs I think about people who just kind of piss him off, like Brat, like I think like I feel like Brat is a song where like he's just like, man, there's like this kind of person that I just think fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason or another he's probably just like had to interact with them and then writes a song about it because it bothers him, like, and that's sort of what I thought No Pride was for a long time. But like, I guess as we're talking about it and going through it, I feel like there's a lot there too, like you're saying about like Billy really making more of a commentary on like the Gilman scene and this feeling of like being thrown out of like his punk home in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's right, and I think some of it is like this is kind of what I'm being called, or this is the kind of person that you think I am. So fuck it. Like here I am. Um, I know I'm not the one. I got no pride. So I think it's like very much a kind of taking on those feelings of being rejected, and there's a lot of shame in this song too. I don't know. It's kind of it's kind of more of a sad song than you get than it presents as on the surface.
Yeah.
Where you have something like 86 that we're going to be covering coming up, where it's like that's just kind of like obvious. It's like out and obvious what that's about, and there's a bit more venom. Or I mean, there's venom in this song too, but it's less kind of self effacing or self doubting or self hating than this song is. It's an interesting song lyrically because there's a lot going on there. I think at the same time it could also be about it's also kind of talking about maybe the hypocrisy of the Gilman scene. There's people, so it's a very interesting one.
I think a little bit, because I think that might be where the honor is going to knock you down line comes.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, you have like your punk rock honor, right? It's like, so what?
Yep.
We're too successful, or we sold out, so like you have your honor and we don't.
Yeah,
That's
and honor's going to knock you down before your chance to stand up and fight. So it's kind of it's almost that like argument, like, oh well, the perfect is the enemy of the good or whatever. Like
yeah,
your honor, your moral purity is going to stop you from like you're not going to have a chance to fight or make a difference because it's never going to be the perfect moment or the right thing for you to take that action. Like we're actually here and we're doing something and so I mean there's a whole messy argument there,
yeah.
but I think that is where that's coming from.
No, I agree. And it's like, and going off of that a little bit too, it's sort of like, well, what do you even want, from the people in the scene? It's like, should the end goal really uh be to reject success? I think maybe there's a little bit of this idea too. It's like, if honor's gonna knock you down before your chance to stand up and fight too. Like if it is kind of about that, then it's like, I think like creating that arbitrary cutoff point of like what success is too much success to lose your punk credibility
Yeah.
is also like this self-defeating idea. It's almost like you have created the situation for your own eventual extinction, because if no
Yeah.
one in the scene is able to succeed or uh to like go beyond it in a meaningful way, then it's like, then you can't have growth, and if you can't grow, like if there's a ceiling to that, then then how could the scene perpetuate itself in the first place? Not to say, like, again, like, I get the idea of like feeling in the 90s like Green Day are sellouts, but it does, especially now. Like, we kind of have this conversation about Turnstile just like last episode or 2 episodes ago, like how far this conversation has come, and how much like the relationship between fans and musical artists has like changed over time in that regard. Like, selling out doesn't even really exist anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think there's a bit of something here where it's like you're it was always going to fall apart, if
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's yeah, because I mean it's not even saying like that there aren't ways to succeed organically or like grow in healthy ways. Like it's like the lack of it's the lack of nuance, I think, in these. And obviously these are all young punk kids, so it's like, of course their stances are hardline and militant, and that's
yeah,
great. That's kind
absolutely.
of that's what the youth should be. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, yeah, there was always an expiration date. Like, these people grow up and these bands fall apart and die, and are just a memory to most of these punks from the scene that and Green Day wanted more than that. They wanted this to be their life. And there's also an argument to be made, like, well, Green Day's success, like, I don't know, did inject a lot of new blood and a lot of like uh, money and uh, like momentum into the East Bay scene. So it's like, I mean, is that not a net positive? Like,
Mm.
would the scene be going as strong as it is? There's still like a relatively healthy punk scene in the East Bay, I think. Just it's evolved over the years. Gilman's still open. Like, what would it be like if Green Day did not blow it all up and call attention just to how cool this scene is? Like I don't know. Um, anyway, so that's a discussion for another time, maybe. Um, but yeah, it's all there. It's like it's that kind of that battle, that ancient battle between the punk militants and you know everyone else, or people who these bands that gain acclaim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connor, you want to help me with this next song?
Yeah, here we
All right,
go.
go something like this. A warning, live without warning.
Have we heard this song?
Connor, have we ever heard this song "No Pride" by Green Day live in concert?
Oh my god,
You're on a roll.
this has been really hard with Insomniac.
It's been a tough one for you, I know.
Yeah, I've only gotten one. So I was right about Geek Snake Breath.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can keep it going.
No Pride.
Have we heard No Pride? Yeah, this is the constant battle with my memory. It's like, that's really what I'm fighting against.
Yeah.
More and more. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god. So many of these songs, it feels like it could go either way.
I know. I don't overthink it.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. Yes.
Okay. So your answer is yes, and turns out, Connor, that's wrong.
All right, whatever. Yeah.
We have never heard No Pride live. Neither you or I have ever heard.
Didn't hear it at your legendary Rough Trade show.
No. No, didn't hear it at Rough Trade. Didn't hear it at Irving Plaza. We didn't hear it at Bowery Ballroom.
Okay. Never happened.
This song has very, very rarely been played live. They played it live 7 times in '95 when the album came out. They played it twice in 2009, but neither of the shows we were at. And I don't even know. I feel like these probably were just, maybe it was just Billy doing an acoustic part of it or something in 2009. Once in '97, once in 2000, and once in 2001. And then that's it.
Wow. So it's very rare. It's
extremely, extremely rare. Billy, if you're listening to this, play it at the next festival show. Why not?
Yeah. Then we'll really know he's listening. If
yes.
they bust out No Pride, then we know for sure.
That is confirmation that somebody that has Billy's ear is listening to the Green Dudes.
Let's see.
We will find out. All right, Connor. You ready to check in quickly with the this yellow seedy underbelly of the interwebs?
I'm as ready as I can be.
All right. Let's hear it from the anti-social media.
We are.
All right. So this is interesting. One of the first comments I saw, and again, this song is called No Pride. I did not even think that there would be this element to the comments until I first started diving into them. This is Chaotic Evil Duck from 1 year ago, and they say, people in the comments being homophobic and failing to realize Billy is bisexual. So the name No Pride, Connor, uh, has a bit of a different connotation to some people now than maybe it did when it was released, or maybe or that it was meant to have.
Yeah, good point.
And so, the comments are not filled with homophobia or anything, but there are random stray comments that are like that, or like imply that this is a rejection of the concept of like Pride Month, which is insane. And now we're here at the end of Pride Month covering the song "No Pride," which is funny. But it's anyways. This next comment is Connor Mason 7874, spells Connor the wrong way, but we'll give him a pass
Yeah,
on
Connor,
that.
he was proud. Come on.
Connor says, "Me on July 1st. I've got no pride.
Yeah.
Pride Month is over." Next
It's
up, we have
It's just.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's stupid, obviously, because the timelines just don't match up in a way in which, like, this song would be a commentary on Pride Month, and just like with so many things with Green Day, it's like just actually listening to the song, would immediately dispel, that notion. If anyone,
yeah, of course.
It just goes to show, the mind of homophobes and people within that arena, such as racists and xenophobes and all any term that you can apply to someone who is like willfully hateful and discriminatory. They are only capable of engaging with anything at a surface level.
Yes.
They only see the title, just like they only see someone's skin color, and then they stop there.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
They're not capable of anything else.
There's no digging deeper. There's no inspection of your own beliefs or diving deep into any art. They don't consider art as something to dive into or analyze, or it's all just to them. It's all just pretty colors and cool sounds and stuff. And so you got a song called "No Pride," and the first thing they think of is what they've made their whole personality, which is hating people.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, Green Day must hate these guys too, right? It's like that they wrote a song about it.
I know. I mean, and the smart ones, the smart ones. I mean, it's not a high bar, but like they'll do a bad faith into. It's like I'm sure some of these are bad faith comments, people that are just being edgy or whatever. Like I'm sure they know, some of these people know what Green Day is about and what they stand for, but they're just using this moment to lash out and cause upset.
Yeah.
So we get a little bit of that, but not as much as I was expecting after that first comment. We have Koshar44 from 7 years ago says, last album before Billie Joe turned into a soccer mom.
What?
Yeah,
what
I don't know.
That mean?
I don't really get it.
It's like the goalpost is always moving. The further it's like, okay, the only punk albums they made were 39 Smooth and Kerplunk. The last good album they made was Dookie. The last album before Billy turns into a soccer mom is Insomniac. Where does it end? And what does that mean?
It doesn't. There's no sense to be made of it. I guess Nimrod has a bunch of soccer mom. I guess Good Riddance maybe is what they're upset with.
Yeah, I can't tell if they're talking about like literally the way Billy looks or
maybe
the music. I get
Yeah.
the music. It's like I don't know. But it's another stupid comment from another stupid person.
It is. Next up, we have Steve732 from 2 years ago. Steve says, "If you call this music, you haven't a clue."
Who said that, Steve?
Steve.
All right, fuck you, Steve.
Yeah, fuck off, Steve. You haven't a clue.
Yeah, tell him.
Tara Keebler154 from 6 years ago says, "Oh, go, ... I'm not allowed to swear. Some people think I'm crazy. Who would that be?" And then a bunch of shocked emoji faces.
Cool. Good representation from the 11-year-old crowd here.
I'm not allowed to swear. All right, next up we have Matthew Powell 2564 2 years ago. They say, "A bad called a bandit took me for a ride because I realize on the lower steps some guy gives me a thumbs up, which I ignore each and every day, thinking there's no rules, how to rule in the end. We're all jeans because we're worn. Ignore shit stains because we're famous."
Wow. I don't know. Comments like these really, it makes me think that there's going to be so much more cultural value to YouTube than anyone's aware. Like I think that YouTube is going to be like a historical record that future archaeologists like use to try to figure out the human mind of the 2000s. Like this is like, I think YouTube is like our pyramids. I think this is really what we're doing,
like
honestly.
How did they make this?
Yeah.
How is this even possible? We don't even know.
Right. It's like we couldn't. You can't make YouTube. You couldn't make YouTube today. We've forgotten how.
or it's like the human mind is not capable of stringing together sentences like these anymore. We can't recreate this. We have Carp Fisher Holy Ghost from 4 years ago. Carp says, "This song sounds like it should be in Nimrod instead."
We kind of already talked about, it's like, this feels like smack dab an Insomniac song, and it's obviously it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse or whatever. It's like, yeah, duh, it's on Insomniac, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bad shout.
No,
I feel like No Pride. It does have Nimrod energy with some of that like brightness we were talking about.
I was gonna say, like, it does kind of have a little bit of that flavor, or I mean, more so it's like something that Nimrod takes and builds off of. You know, it's this, maybe you don't have Nimrod without this, without songs like No Pride, I think maybe is what I would say. It's just part of the evolution. All right, here is a bigoted one. Karana Damadev 584 says, "Imagine playing this at an LGBT pride parade." And then everyone in the comments is like, "You realize Billy is bi, right?" And then they're like, "Listen to King for a day."
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, you know, that's what you gotta tell them.
Yeah. It's kind of funny though, because I feel like everyone's saying Billy's bi. It is a little bit like with Geek Stink Breath, where they're like, you know what this song's about, right?
Oh yeah. I know.
Song about methamphetamine. Ever heard of it? It's like,
yeah.
I think people love to just be like, well, Billy's bi. You know, Billy's bi, right? Don't you know that? He's bi. He's a bi icon, a bicon. Biley Joe Armstrong. Bi's in his name.
That's what we call him.
Don't you know that? First two letters of his first name, buddy.
Well, that's one of the beauty. Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about YouTube is people, they love doling out all the knowledge they have.
I know they do, right?
They take every opportunity.
But that's why, like, I think it's kind of dumb, because again, it's like, okay, Billy's bi, yeah. No, I know, like, and it's not that it's not worth bringing up, but even if he wasn't bi, just by virtue of listening to the song, you know what I mean? Like Billy's sexuality doesn't change if this song is or isn't about.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Pride
No,
in terms
no, I
of
know.
LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Like that's why this comment, even though they're doing the right thing, by saying that this person's a fucking idiot, which they are, I just like his sexuality also doesn't matter. Like in
I know.
terms of what we're discussing with the song. That's
It's
all.
it's kind of just like listen to the fucking song, man. Like it's not like that's not what the song's about. Actually, listen to the song.
Yeah.
Jason Wolf 3995 from 4 years ago. Jason says, "Damn, sativa in this album. Holy shit."
I
You ever
wouldn't
take
know.
some sativa and pop on Insomniac? Holy shit, man.
No, it
I gotta
always
try that.
kind of. No. Well, I mean, isn't sativa like a weird weed? I mean, like there's different strains of weed. So you got like.
I know. I was gonna ask you, is sativa like it's what is it? It's indica, and then
right. But I also
sativa.
I kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong, because my initial thought was sativa, like maybe they're referring to one of those synthetic weeds that are
well, yes,
you up,
yeah. That's what I thought, because there is one of those that kind of sounds kind of like the word is kind of like sativa, right? Or is it?
Yeah. I could just be getting confused because I don't really even smoke anymore. So I was never like a pothead. I just like sometimes smoked, but now I like don't pretty much because I don't really like it. So
yeah.
So I don't know, but maybe they are just referring to a strain of weed. But then it just seems weird. Like, why would you be like sativa? Just be like pot. Just say fucking pot.
I know.
I don't know.
Well, they wanted to be specific, and they wanted to show the YouTube audience that they know their
they know
marijuana.
Right? Yes, they know it. Obviously, they know more than we do. So
yeah, they wanted to drop another knowledge bomb.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, this is a good example of what we were talking about, kind of. FTW or WTF says, in quotes, "Green Day is so political these days." Funny you should say that, implying that this song is political.
Mm.
And No Steppy replies, says, "This song isn't political. It's talking about the same thing 86 does. The punk scene rejecting Green Day after selling out," in quotes. Yes, they were political before American Idiot, but it didn't start with Insomniac. Which, I mean, is not strictly true. But in terms of this song, I think it's a good clap back.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that too.
These people think they're so fucking clever saying
I know.
Day. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be so annoyed by these comments because it just really is like telling the like the average intelligence of I think of like deeply bigoted and hateful people. There's like a direct correlation. It's like, I'm sorry, but I do think you just kind of got to be stupid to like actually buy into that shit. You're being sold something.
Well, yeah, and there's just never any like internal logic or any like cohesion to their arguments or ideology. And this is the last political one. Then we'll have we got two left here. But Dan L50 7 years ago says, "Liberal cuck-servatives." I wanted to get your thoughts on what that means.
Wow. It's hard to say because obviously they're like doing a weird. It's like liberal and conservative. But
yeah.
Saying cuck.
Yeah, it's hard to tell who they're targeting here.
Yeah, it's like I think it's pretty clear that they think that Green Day is kind of like a mouthpiece for the left at any rate, which pretty much anyone with leftist politics, I think also would kind of sneer at that, because it's like we've kind of talked about like the comfortable like democratic sort of position that Green Day often settles into, which is fine, and not always. It's like, hey, they're throwing Palestinian flags around on stage and stuff too. They got teeth, but yeah, it's like, what's there to be mad about here? Liberal conservatives.
I know.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Just very, very fun. It's like it's just like funny to get into that thought process. Like, what do they think they were doing here with this?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
No, exactly. Last but not least, Band Geek of Suburbia 6591 from 8 years ago says, "This reminds me of Deadbeat Holiday."
I don't know. I don't think I'm like trying to like, do I hear that in my head? But not really. I feel like,
yeah, it feels like a stretch to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to shoot anyone down. I mean, maybe there's something there, but I feel like Deadbeat Holiday has like such like sing along energy. Oh, Deadbeat Holiday, celebrate your undie, and it's like, and they have the thing that really stands out to me with Deadbeat Holiday is they have like I don't know, a tambourine or sleigh bells or something.
Well,
they
yeah,
have,
the texture of the song is totally different.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'm always happy to hear people give a shout to, at least the comment doesn't say something like, "Man, this sounds just like Dookie," So
I know, yeah,
I'll give it to him. Sure.
Connor, who the fuck wins comment of the day?
Oh boy, I think I'm gonna vote for. There was like this commenter you mentioned who was replying to like one of these assholes, and I don't know if it was the FTW WTF guy but they were saying like, actually this song is about Green Day, being kicked out of the punk scene, and it's not really political. I'm gonna vote for that commenter because I feel like they're doing the Lord's work in this comment section.
Yeah, definitely. That was in reply to FTW or WTF. This is No Steppy. No Steppy replied to them. Congratulations, No Steppy. You're killing it. Hopefully, you're still kicking butt in comment sections everywhere. 6 years later, with the state of things, I'm sure you're probably putting in long hours.
Yeah, you got your work cut out for you. Thank you for trying.
You do. But if you want, reach out to us. We will reward you handsomely for your efforts, my friends. Connor, any final thoughts on anything we've covered on the episode before we wrap it up?
No, not for me. This was a cool song. I do feel like I learned more about it because at the beginning of our conversation here, kind of like I was saying before, I felt like this song was much more of like a, I don't know, like a personal, like a person to person kind of song from Billy, and yet the more I consider it, I'm like, yeah, this really is kind of very much in line with something like 86, and and I just like hadn't really like realized that and put that together, and so it feels like that's important to know, with an album like Insomniac, that No Pride is like putting in that work to kind of carry that message, through the record as well. So that was cool for me. I'm glad I have a better understanding of the song now.
Yeah, same here. I hadn't put much thought into that before today either. I think passively I maybe knew what it was about generally, but no. And I mean, it just goes to show like Insomniac is such a cohesive record, and it's all kind of it's like very thematically sound. and that's one of its strengths. Folks, thanks for listening. What do we have next week? Next week we have Babs Uvula Who.
Oh,
Fucking cool.
Okay.
That'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
So get ready for that, folks. You can follow us on social media at Green Dudes Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Shoot us an email at greendudespod@gmail.com with any of your Green Day takes or thoughts. Please leave us a 5-star rating and a glowing review on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify podcasts. But most importantly, folks, until next time,
stay
punk. All right, stream over.